All right, art students, so our first project of the year for FVGC is going to be to decorate our sketchbook covers. We are going to do this through a means called appropriation. Let me show you some examples of what I mean by that and what the word appropriation means. So what is appropriation? Appropriation is when an artist creates a new work of art by taking pre-existing images from other sources, modifying or incorporating those images with new ones. Let's look at this example here. On the left is a famous painting by Edward Munch called The Scream. And on the right, the artist had used appropriation by taking that image, modifying it, and incorporating other images to make it new. Here's another example. Here's the famous Mona Lisa, but it has been modified to create a new image. You will have two choices for your appropriation sketchbook project. The first one will be based on the painting called The Scream by Edward Munch. And you will be incorporating the thought of what makes you scream. This painting sold at auction for a record $119 million. Your other option will be to use appropriation with this image called Woman with a Parasol by Claude Monet. And if you choose this image, you will appropriate it with the thought of what makes you feel serene, also meaning calm. Let me show you what I mean by this. You will be given one of these two line drawings, depending on which image you want to use to appropriate. Okay? You will be getting an image of the scream or an image of the woman with the parasol. It is up to you which image you choose, but you will be appropriating the thought of what makes me scream or what makes me feel serene. Let me show you some examples of some sketchbooks from the past. This student used the image of the scream, and what makes this student scream is having all of these thoughts all the time running through her head. You can see where she used just the little portion of the boats and the swirls in the head, and that is how she used appropriation to change the line image of the screen into something totally different and unique. Next example, this student used yarn and paint markers to appropriate the scream image. She only used the face of the scream to show that she feels very uncomfortable in loud situations where there are a lot of crowds, and that is what makes her scream. But you only need to use a small portion of the line cutout in your work. Okay, you might be asking yourself, now how do I get started with this? The first thing you're going to want to do is decide, are you going to focus on what makes you scream? Are you going to focus on what makes you feel serene or calm? Once you've done that, you will choose which line drawing you want to use, and you can use multiple of the same image. I've had students use like 5 of these, and they've cut out different parts, or they've cut out like 5 different heads to use. So if you would like more than one copy, that is definitely something we can get for you. So there's a couple different ways you can start. You can start by just jumping right in and start and experiment as you go. But if you're a little bit more planning oriented, I would have you open up your sketchbook to the very first page and just start brainstorming. So say I'm going to pick this image here of the woman with the parasol. I might start by just writing the title at the top of my page. What makes me feel serene or calm? Okay. And then I might just start making a list of things. Something that makes me feel calm might be jogging. I like to jog. Something that makes me feel calm is painting. Let's see. Petting my cat. His name's Jake. Reading makes me feel calm. Okay. So once you have a big list down, you might start thinking about different images that would relate to that. So let's say I go with painting. Well, what are some images that would go along with painting? Well, brushes, paint, maybe a palette. Okay, remember this is art class, so you're going to have to be taking your list and transforming it into imagery. Okay? So that is a good way you could start Okay. Another way you could start, like I said, is just kind of jumping in and seeing where it might take you. But if you need help brainstorming, I would start with a list. Okay, so that wraps up the instructions for the project for the sketchbook. You will have the whole rest of the week to work on this. If you are at home learning, you will need to probably take some materials home. Once you come to school, take them home and work, and then bring them back the next day. If you need help or you want to rewatch this video so that you can pause and watch, if you have questions, all the videos can be found in your appropriate grade folder on Schoology. All right, if you have questions for me and we are in school, please just raise your hand. I'll come over and help you. If you are at home learning this, please, if you have questions, I am just an email away. All right, let's get started.